At InDigital, we know the public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only I3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Here in Greenville County, we have 8 different places where a 911 call can be answered.
It is the largest county in South Carolina. It's a challenge.
The type of information that a telecommunicator gets from Radius Plus is location-based technology. You can see where the caller is, if they have a medical issue, if they speak a different language. They're immediately able to text to that caller in their native language. It reduces response times because it immediately gets first responders where they need to be.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Welcome to Within the Trenches, true stories from the 911 dispatchers who live them.
Hello and welcome.
Wow.
That didn't take long.
Oh my gosh.
So much for that.
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's a lot that's been going on this week, and we've been laughing our asses off right from the beginning on this. So we are here recording live from the 2021 APCO conference here in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes,
We're currently in the Expo Hall. This is day 2, and we are, about 45 or so minutes away from closing this area here. We've been recording a lot of episodes and stuff, and
Closing this area.
It's
Okay.
been it's been a lot of fun. This episode is sponsored by InDigital as well as Rapid Deploy and Carbine. A big welcome to Carbine, new sponsor. Thank you so very much for everything. Big shout out to the sponsors and as well as patrons. Thank you, patrons. It has been excellent, and we've got some good stuff to talk about here, and I have got my good friends with me here. We've got Leslie.
Wow.
Yeah, what is going on? And the always popular Mr. Doug Showalter.
And never
Hi, everybody.
duplicated.
Good morning. A little sleepy.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
I was
I'm
gonna
ready to
say,
go.
we've been laughing this whole time.
Yeah, that's why I'm sleepy now.
His
So-
5 hours wearing off.
Woo!
It's a 5 minute now.
That's
So
right.
we got a short amount of time.
Yeah. So I want to get started here with, we've been here for a few days already. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on, of course. But I want to know what is new, what is going on. Because as you can see here on the video as well, we've got a good friend here who has changed shirts.
That looks kind of weird. I'm sorry. That's kind of odd. I'm showing you my logo, not my other
Wow.
parts.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
This just took a turn.
So yeah, new job, new technology, new
Wow.
stuff that's happening. It's
I know, yeah, and it's really exciting too. You were working with Nina before,
Yes.
and doing a lot of the training and stuff, traveling around and doing everything, and you ended up making your transition. How has that been? How's the transition been? Come on now, how is the?
Doug and I immediately were like,
Nope.
How has the switch been
Oh,
from
my.
going to from Nina to now RapidSOS, and what is it that you do there now?
Wow.
So I'm still with Nina, so I'm still teaching for Nina, but
Awesome.
I have left the PSAP or the ECC, and now I am the training and engagement manager with RapidSOS.
Wow.
So I am getting people involved in using the technology and really trying to get them to utilize what RapidSOS has to offer for free in their comm centers, because there's so, like you mentioned before, there's so much happening. The days of just picking up the phone and asking for a location and sending help, those are gone.
It's over.
Wow,
It
those
is
were good
over.
old days, though.
Those were good old days.
Good old days.
You remember the stone tablets and the chisel? That was your narrative? Yeah.
I did not so rapid. So,
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Morse code.
a lot of smoke signals, none of that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
So, it is awesome that you ended up doing this. I remember, I was talking to a few people with the company, and I remember them telling me, like, we've got a big announcement that's going to be coming soon. And I said, "Oh, for real?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "You're gonna love it." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." And I was, so I was waiting, and then I saw the announcement come up, and I did love it. I was like, "Hell yes!"
I love it too.
Yes, it was awesome. I mean, they could not have brought on someone better to do it with your experience, and just your sense of humor, just everything. You make it fun, and
yeah.
it's awesome. So
I appreciate that.
I'm very happy and just fucking proud of you.
Yeah. Wow.
wow,
That E
Okay.
now is
Wow, that just-
important. Yeah.
took a little turn right there.
Explicit.
I got
It did.
scared.
That escalated quickly.
Yes.
And it is. I appreciate your kind words. That's very nice. And I am thrilled to be a part of what's next. And I think for a lot of people, you go in, you sit down at your comm center, you do your job, and you forget. And that's the beauty of these conferences,
Right.
that you can connect with people who do the same job that you do. Maybe their room looks a little bit different.
Yes.
But you get to see what's happening, what's coming, what's on the horizon. And some of the stuff that's happening right now that you didn't even realize you had until you get to walk around and talk to people. So I love that this is here, that people are communicating, that everything is giving people an opportunity, especially in post-COVID, to see each other in 3D
Right.
and have an opportunity to connect with people.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think it's been also excellent to see you working the crowd.
Oh, yeah. I learned
saw
that
you-
from this one.
I saw you at Navigator. Our booths were back to back.
That's right.
And I think it was either you or Karen had popped in a couple times. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, we like to let people know we're around.
yeah. And so, everyone coming to the booth, seeing you working it from there to Nina, now here in ABCO and stuff has just been refreshing. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm happy for you.
Thank
and
you.
that is awesome to
Yeah.
see you make this switch. It's been good.
Yeah, it's been really good. And, Doug and I and you just communicating with everybody, making sure that people know, hey, this is happening, pay attention, because sometimes we do get kind of inundated with, oh my gosh, I got to work more overtime. And, you forget about all this cool stuff. So
Right.
it is awesome. And I definitely think that training has to be fun. You have to make it entertaining.
Yes.
But I think these conferences too, because we walk around the whole conference several times, and you'll see people sitting at booths that have absolutely no personality,
Yeah.
and they're just sitting there staring at the phone or whatever, and you're standing there looking at them like, hi, and they have absolutely nothing to say, and they walk along. Where it's like, I know I've worked booths with Leslie. She's doing her booth. We have another booth coming up, and it's like, we don't just stand or sit and look at people like, hi. We are engaging people to get them into our world, and kind of like, then we can kind of, experience everything they've got,
Right.
which is nice, because I see the way she does it too, and it's like at Rapid, and it's like, it's just so different than some people, and I feel bad because I'm like, these folks are representing their agencies or companies or whatever,
Sure.
and they're just kind of not taking it
Yeah.
out there. And I found the term CX, which is a business term that you hear in the business world. People talking about CX means a customer experience. What does the customer get when they walk through the door? Well, I see that here. I seen it at Target the other day. I'm at Target in line just trying to pay for my stuff, and the guy is yelling, I hate this place. This job is terrible. And I'm like, you don't know who I am, but you're doing this kind
You
of
could be
stuff.
Mr. Target.
Yeah, I could be Joe Target. So,
You could be a
but
secret
it's just
shopper.
yeah. But it's just funny to see people here doing the same thing, and I'm like, you've got the opportunity of a lifetime with so many cool people walking around and so much great stuff. Is to take advantage of that and say, man, let's engage these folks.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people do. Some people are great at it. You walk by and you feel like, man, I have to go talk to these people, even
Right.
though I'm probably not going to buy it. I just want to go talk to them and to be like, thank you for doing what you're doing out there. So that's cool.
Yeah, it has been good to walk around and see people like that. But I know what you mean. There are some that, and usually people that I've seen who have maybe had been partying a little bit, and then I see them the next day, and I'm like, hey, how you feeling?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I like to deal in those awkward situations sometimes just to see how people react. I did a social experiment once for college. We had a bunch of stuff that we needed to do, and one of the things that I did was I went into a grocery store, went into the produce, and I just started staring up at the ceiling. And eventually, people started gathering, and they're like, "What is he looking at?"
Yeah.
And I would just keep looking, and then I started busting up laughing, and I walked away.
It is funny how easy it is to
you can
deal with
influence
people.
other people.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
And for all of you who are listening to this and you're going to be traveling home, apparently I'm not tomorrow because my flight got canceled.
Oh,
but
man.
you
well,
can
that's what you get for flying on Jimmy's airline.
Well,
so
it's the best deal. But you can do that at the gate, and I've seen people do it where you just stand there. Nobody's really paying attention, but you start to like bounce your leg, or you start to act agitated, like you're in a hurry, and you start walking.
Yes.
And then you can start to see other people at the gate. Now they're starting to look at their watch and starting to get. Aren't we fun people?
No, it's
Well, it's an interesting thing too. It's like if someone yawns, it's contagious. Someone else will start to yawn.
Yes.
Well, now if you ever, when you're sitting at the table with a group of people, one person brings out their phone. Eventually, everyone else does the same thing.
Yes, but I think so let's transition this to public safety, right?
Oh God.
Okay, so and you've talked about it, and I know I've talked about it. I know you've talked about it, the power of one person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we tend to, if somebody comes into our communication center and they're in a great mood and they're all happy and stuff like that, instead of allowing that to influence us, we make it our life's goal to go, no, we don't do that here. You need to be as miserable as I am. But it's recognizing that you are going to be influenced by somebody else's mood.
Right.
At least make that influence a positive one.
Somebody you want to emulate.
Exactly.
And that's I've
Don't
seen that
get caught up
before.
in somebody's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would go into an office I was working at that was just really, really down in the dumps. And I just have this weird habit, and I don't know why I do it, but I have a weird habit of whistling Christmas carols like in July. I mean, just whenever it comes up. And
I know that.
I know. But it's just a weird habit I have. When I'm like doing nothing, it'll just suddenly start whistling Christmas carols. And people are like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's just a fun thing. It's just a nice feling to feel that kind of stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you want like that kind of feeling? Why would you want to just sit there and be miserable going, why are you doing that? As opposed to, you know what? It's not bad today.
Yeah.
It's a nice
and
day.
And then Jingle Bells is stuck in your head for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I know.
And that was a good transition as well, because I was thinking about how you'd put that into public safety, and whether it be in a phone call, the switch of your tone of your voice, or when you're walking in. If I'm walking in and I'm in a good mood, everybody else is going to feed off of that as well. But if you're shitty, they're going to feed off of that as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, they are. And it's easy to fall down.
Yes.
It's easy to fall down a hill and be miserable. It's harder to stay up saying, hold on, I'm not going to fall into that thing. And I try to talk about that in a lot of classes I teach, because I want people to realize it's okay to fight against the downfall. And everybody's going downhill, stop it, go the other way.
Right.
Yes.
It's just some people, I think, just want to be like that. And I can't imagine what their home lives are like, too.
Well, and I think it's easier to not take accountability if, I work in dispatch, so I'm justified in being in a bad mood, or and we use it as an it absolutely is. And I honestly believe that we need to every day wake up, whether it's at the beginning of the day when the sun's coming up, or you're going to bed when the sun's going down because you got to get up early, but making that conscious choice of, hey, I'm going to have a good day.
Yes.
And then you're much more likely to recognize, ooh, this is going to negatively impact me, I'm going to walk another way. But what we tend to do, and I think it's human nature, it's not just a public safety thing, is we don't make a plan, and so we let things happen to us. And then we get frustrated because why am I letting this bother me so much? But if you had walked into that situation with, hey, you know what? This is going to be great. I'm going to love this. It's going to be a great day. Then it's easier to recognize, oh, that's not going to fit my journey today. I'm going to take myself out of that situation.
Well, it's a lot of people just spend their time reacting as opposed to acting.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in dispatch, that is our default because, we sit in our comm center and we homestead for the next 12 hours with all of our 46 bags and water bottles and drinks and all that
all kinds of snacks and shit.
Yeah. I mean, apocalypse. We're going to live forever because we got goldfish and
turkeys.
Yes. But then we spend those 12 hours reacting to things that if instead we sat down and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a plan that when something negative happens, this is how I'm going to react. I'm going to make a plan that when somebody comes into the room and they're in a bad mood, this is how I'm going to react. And you really start to think about it, then you're better prepared. You're being proactive instead of reactive.
But I think back to when I worked in Los Angeles, big, huge office. Mm-hmm. We had daily briefing, like they had for like most police departments have, where the sergeant gets up and talks about whatever. We had that too. That set the tone for the shift walking out.
Sure.
Where when I worked in smaller centers and people just showed up and go to work, you missed that opportunity to say, hey, today's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
Let's make it fun. Let's talk about this stuff and laugh a little bit before you go in there and then go in.
Yeah.
It really does change things. And I really was like, we should be doing this thing everywhere we go.
Yes.
It's just,
yes.
How do you get those kids at Target? Do you ever see the people that work at Target? They have that morning where they all gather around and they're like,
that little huddle thing?
Yeah, and they're like, go Target.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't imagine. Can you imagine asking a dispatcher who's been on 25 years, hey, let's all gather together and say, go whatever? It's like,
there's no time.
No. But think about what we could do. I mean, we all sit in front of computers, right?
Yeah.
When you log on, have a screensaver that has some sort of motivational quote.
That's a good idea.
Or something that says, hey, you are what matters.
Right. Yeah.
The way you interact with something that reminds us each and every day, hey, we've got to be in tune with how we are going to communicate with other people because we're the difference between life and death sometimes.
That's very true. And I remember specifically a supervisor meeting. Actually, it was more than it was a staff meeting, and we were all in there and we were talking about this stuff. And I remember one person saying, your attitude doesn't influence me at all. Yeah. And I said, really?
Watch me.
Yes.
Competition.
And I made that point. Like I said earlier, if I come in being an asshole, you're going to feel that, and you're not going to want to talk to anybody either. We're just going to be sitting there in silence.
Yeah.
But if I come in and I'm all happy and shit, you're going to be happy too. And I remember she just kind of looked and she's like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I had a supervisor that would do that. We would be on the floor, and we were pretty good mood. It was a smaller center I worked at that time, and the supervisor would come in, and she'd walk through the door, and she'd walk straight to her office and slam the door, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good day. It's like, I mean, she had nothing to say to anybody and just walked in mad, which I'm like, that sets the tone for the entire, nobody wants to talk to her.
Right.
And when her door does open, we're all like, oh,
eggshells.
God. Yeah, it's like, what happened?
Right.
Yeah.
But and my frustration with that story is not only the way that permeates the room, but that's a supervisor.
Yeah.
If you permit it, you promote it.
Yeah.
So if you are allowing people to act the fool on your shift and you are never mitigating that issue, you're telling everybody else in the room it's perfectly okay to walk in the door and slam your door, slam something down. Oh, well, she did it.
Yeah.
He did it. I guess that's how we do it here.
That's why in that class I taught yesterday or Monday, whatever day it was, I used that Dr. Phil analogy, which is, it still works, because his thing is behavior rewarded is behavior repeated.
Yep.
And if you tell somebody you did a good job on something, they'll try to do it again.
Yes.
But if you don't say it, they're going to say, well, then I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
true.
damn, that's a good saying.
Yes,
So
I love that.
I use it in classes because it's like, you have to think of the bigger picture of what we're saying. Do you ever reward people for doing a good job? Or are we so stuck on Bob's so negative, let's go after him? We're not wondering about Alice is really good at what she does. We should say something to her, like, good job.
Yeah.
So,
And I think we've got to set expectations for our employees so they know. It's hard for me to hit a target that I don't know exists.
yeah.
It's
But
true.
if somebody tells me, this is what it takes to be an A+ dispatcher, this is what it takes to be a good employee, oh, okay, now I know how to get there. But what we tend to do is, well, you should know that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to point it out when you don't hit my expectations that I haven't even told you about.
Yeah.
How do you get the buy-in though?
I think it goes back to what Doug is saying. When somebody is meeting those expectations that you've talked about and everybody is aware that they exist, and you are constantly referencing that. Hey, when you did that, that's exactly what we mean when we talk about customer service. When you did that, you are personifying our mission statement. And then people start to see the framework and go, oh, okay, now I know what it is. And now that they're a higher probability of actually hitting the mark because they can see the target and they know how to get there.
And I just think people react better when they're being told, hey, you did a good job on that call. Even if it's just something small. I don't want an award.
Yeah.
Just tell me I did a good job, because I remember as a dispatcher a long time ago, I had supervisors who didn't say anything, and I was a very mean, vindictive dispatcher. So,
oh shit.
Yeah. So it was like, I was like, I will make their life hell. I'll come up with policies. I'll find stuff, and it was like. But once I started having a lieutenant and a captain who were really like, you did a good job on that call, then I was like, so I don't have to be a...
Yeah, I don't have to be an automatic. Oh, what do you know? But I'm so good at it.
Yeah, Dick is not just a nickname. So...
Well, so did you take a lot of what you learned and all that experience into what it is that you've been doing here for the last few years with Showalter and Company?
I have learned so much from, and I give credit. I always do. The next class I'm doing tomorrow, I give credit to these people. The lady that hired me, Jan, the girl that trained me, Sandy, my lieutenant who spent time with me, all these people that really impacted my career to where I'm at today is because of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I give them credit, and they're all on my Facebook, and I'm always telling them, like, thank you for what you did back in the day. And it's like, I feel like by that karma of me saying good things, it kind of led me in the right direction. I mean, I remember the lieutenant sitting me down and saying, Doug, do you want to be a disaster your entire career, fighting everything you've got and throwing manuals at people? Yeah. And I said, well, that's the only way you can function here. You have to be disruptive.
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't. And she really worked with me, and she's the one who got me to take the test and got me to promote. And I took over the state of California training program, and it was just, and she was the one who called me every single first step. Like when I first got promoted back to LA, walked in on Graveyard, my phone's lit up, the red light's flashing, I answered the call. It's her leaving a message going, see what the attitude does? See how the better attitude? I'm like, damn you.
Wow.
When I go to the academy and I took over the state thing, I walk in my office, I go inside, and the red light's flashing on my phone. And I'm like, who the hell even knows I'm here? So I pick up and listen to the message, and it's her again. And she's like, see, opportunity came to you, and you now stepped in. And I'm like, damn it.
That's powerful.
So, and she doesn't even think, every time I tell her, she's like, I did that? And I'm like, you don't realize the power that you had.
and I think that statement in and of itself, that everybody listening to this, every interaction you have with somebody has the opportunity to do good or too bad.
Yeah.
And if you can look for opportunities to make a difference in somebody's life, and sometimes making a difference, maybe just smiling at them as you pass them in the hallway.
This is true.
Yeah.
Little things are so
Little things
important.
like that. But if somebody along life's way has given you an opportunity, like Doug's talking about, in today's connected world, with text messages and social media and all that stuff, reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about, being grateful for experiences or interactions, and your face came to mind, and I just wanted to thank you for that. Because
that's awesome.
I do talk about it in classes, and I'm always asking people, how many of you have ever said to the person that hired you, thanks for hiring me? And everybody's looking around like, never?
No.
I'm like, today's the day, man. Go do it today. And it's going to really throw them off, because they're going to be like, what's going on? I just want to thank you for hiring me 20 years ago. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've had people do it to me. I've hired people my entire career. And I've had people send me Facebook messages saying, I would love to work with you again someday. I'm sorry you left the Highway Patrol, whatever. And it's like, you feel that kind of stuff, and you're like, I really did make an impact on that person's career.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to hear that kind of stuff.
And we're here because of interactions that we've had with you, that you've had with people that we know, that our paths have crossed. My new job is because of a relationship and a friendship that I had established years ago. It's all about your reputation. You are working on it every single day. Every interaction, every time that you are out in public or even behind the scenes on the phone, you are setting the tone for your future, and you have control.
It goes along with that right there.
That's why I have those
Leave a
legacy.
Yes.
To me, it's an important message to think, when you don't work there anymore, and nobody's going to work forever. I mean, when you leave, what are people going to remember about you?
Yes.
You were that angry, disgruntled psychopath, or are they going to say, damn, I wish they were still here. That person had a really good attitude or whatever. And it's like, I try to always remind people of the importance of leaving that legacy. That's why I have this. That's why it's our company motto. I talk about it in every single class I do because I want people to realize this is not just a job. This is not. I mean, I told the class the other day that I went to a whiskey place in Nashville called Uncle Nearest. And it's the guy that trained Jack Daniels how to make bourbon, so it's really interesting. But yeah, it's a pretty cool story. And so his entire winery, in the tasting room, there's all these pictures all over the walls, and it's all their employees. And they've asked every single employee, we want you to write a comment about what you want to be remembered for when you're not here anymore. And man, you read the comments, you're like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Wow.
And I'm always reminding people, do you do that in your comm center? Do you have something on, you got pictures on the wall of your people?
Yeah.
What do they want to be remembered for?
Yes.
And it's such an easy thing to do, but it's so, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is,
awesome, though.
and it's powerful because if you're thinking to yourself, what is my legacy going to be? The beauty of it is you can change it right now.
Yep.
You can change the narrative right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
take that other path.
Exactly.
It's all of the choices.
It's all about choices, and we have the ability. We make life and death choices all the time without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then when we look at our own lives, our own futures, our own situations, we tend to be hands off. And it's just as simple as if I had to write my eulogy or my legacy letter today at my agency, what would it say? And if I don't like the way it reads, I have the ability to change it.
Yeah.
And I love
amazing.
that. I love it.
It's
awesome.
a crazy thing to think of that kind of stuff. I mean, I remember a friend of mine who lived in Marietta, California, and so she calls me one day and she goes, Doug, are you on this Facebook page? And she said the name, I don't know what it was, and I'm like, no. And she goes, get on it today. So I'm like, oh my God. So I got on, I was thinking, somebody wrote something really negative about me. Here we go. So I get onto this thing and I'm like, what am I looking for? And she goes, page down, page down, page down. And it was all this thing about who would you like to say thank you to? And one of the ones down at the bottom was this girl from Pennsylvania, and she's like, Doug doesn't know it. I don't even know if he knows who I am, but I was in his class, and I was getting ready to quit my job, and I'm still here, and now I'm in charge of the training unit, and I wish he knew it. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so damn cool.
Oh my God.
I friended her immediately and was like, oh my God, I don't remember you, to be honest with you, but she goes, it was just what you said. And I'm like, you don't even think about it. When we've left classes before, you're like walking out going, oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That class
That's
didn't
8
work.
hours of my life I'm not getting back. But I think that is a powerful statement just because it was something that you didn't even remember, but it changed the trajectory of somebody's life.
Right.
Craziness.
And
Crazy.
it's that smile down the hallway. It's that brief conversation. It's that interaction that for you was just part of your day, that it changed somebody's career path. And it's, man.
It's very powerful.
Dude, that feels,
very powerful.
that's a good feeling.
Good stuff.
Now let's go back to being funny. So,
So what is new and everything going on with Showalter and Company?
you know,
What do
we
got
really...
going on, man?
Well,
Where are you going next?
let me tell you a story.
All right.
This is going to be so good.
Well,
I'm gonna hear it here first.
That's right.
Finger
Once
guns.
upon a time.
Buckle up. It's going to get bumpy. So, for many months, I've been doing nothing but virtual classes, which I'm not a fan of, but I understand you have to, and I got it.
Right.
So, for several months, I've done that, and we've really kind of refined it to where we don't just do a virtual class. You can actually, it's only a one price to get the class. You get to have that class for another week after that to watch again and again for whoever didn't miss it. So I'm like, I thought that was pretty good. And so now that we're back into in-person classes, we're getting booked up like a lot. And it always amazes me when people call me, or call Jill actually, and they'll say like, you know, oh my God. They'll be like, we saw him here. We want him to come and do this thing. We had the FBI we did a couple of years ago, and I couldn't believe it. They called and said we were in a class at a convention, not the FBI, but somebody they know, who came back to them and called the FBI and said, you really got to get this guy to come up and do a class. And I went up and did a class for them, and I'm like, I actually talked to the guy and said, who's in the class? And he goes, it's going to be senior FBI officials, chiefs of police, and sheriffs. And I'm like, do they know who I am?
Oh, man.
I'm a dispatcher, man. And they're like, no, we want the message. We want that message you put out. We want that message. And I'm like, okay. And we did it, and it was great. And we're getting a lot of bookings right now because we only have 6 solid classes, and all of the classes approach training from a business perspective.
Yes.
If a business wouldn't do it, why in the hell are we doing it? I mean, this is a business. I talk about it in the classes. how much does it cost to hire somebody, recruit somebody, train somebody? And then if they walk out that door because, man, they didn't make it, you just lost 200 grand and nobody cares. They're just like, so what? Money's coming from some place.
Right.
It's not a leprechaun with a little bucket of gold. It's coming from somewhere. So you can't just throw away money. That's why training is so important. But it starts at the top. Management, supervisors, everybody's into this thing. So
Yeah.
it's big. So I try to bring in the business side. I bring up a lot of names like Brene Brown, if you know who that is.
Yep.
I bring up John Taffer, all these other people that are in the business world that when you take their information and you apply it to it works. And it's like a lot of people don't realize that it works in our business, and it really does. So that's our concept. We take business, mix it into public safety, and we come up with a new kind of way to train and a way to do things.
Well, and you've got the first-hand experience too.
Yeah,
You know, you've been there, done that. You're relating all of this information because you've spent time in the comm center and you know what it's like.
Well, we did that. The one thing that I try to talk about, and people always are like, really? I'm like, do you have coffee with a cop? They're like, yeah. I'm like, have you asked to have something with dispatch?
Yeah.
We were doing Danish with a dispatcher. And when we started it, my captain was like, that's ridiculous. We're not going to, that's dumb. I'm like, let's just try it. And we tried, I called, set it up, and we went out and we had our Starbucks uniforms on and we're doing our thing. It was so successful.
Yep.
It was unbelievable the amount of people we had apply for the jobs that we had because we're thinking differently than the traditional, well, we put an ad in the newspaper. Well, nobody reads newspapers anymore, but they go to Starbucks, and if they go and I'm giving them some kind of weird drink,
Right.
and I'm saying, hey, have you heard about the Highway Patrol? Do you hear what we do? And all this stuff, it makes a difference to people. They're getting a firsthand me and you kind of contact, and they want that. So it's a popular thing. We've done it for a while, and I think they're still doing it, so hopefully.
That's pretty badass, man.
It is pretty cool.
So, as we go into the wrap-up of this episode, and it's always amazing to have you both on. I love it because we could talk for hours on just like everything and just joke around and bullshit.
Yeah.
Do a lot of different things.
Good thing nobody heard the actual non-recorded part of this.
That was it was pretty good.
It was
excellent.
all educational.
It was, yes.
Very
Motivational.
Very, yeah.
And because that part at the beginning was recorded, patrons will get that audio piece.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No
my
way.
I'm just joking. It wasn't recorded.
Well, so
It wasn't recorded.
Yeah. I work for Smith Brothers.
No, I'm joking. That part wasn't recorded. It was just for us.
That's right.
Yes. So, going into the wrap-up of this, there's a question that I've asked pretty much everyone all day today, and I'm going to ask the both of you as well.
Twice, but it hurt. So, oh, I'm sorry. That's not part of the wrap-up part. Sorry.
All right, that's our time. We'll see you later. So,
Wow.
So,
That's a visual I didn't need.
I didn't need it either.
ladies first on this one.
Okay.
And so here's the question: if you could jump into your DeLorean, go 88 miles per hour, and go back in time to talk to yourself at the beginning of your dispatch career, what advice would you give yourself?
Wow.
Oh. So many things come to mind for you, don't they?
Yeah. I think it's just pay attention
Yeah.
and don't let the little things divert you from your path.
Wow.
You know, that, and Doug and I have had numerous conversations, and I'm sure that if we had asked Ricardo on your first day at work, hey, this is where your career is going to end up, he would have said, no way.
Yes. Exactly.
And both we are here because we started in the comm center. So I think my advice to my younger me is, you know, maybe
Marry
sleep
an officer
more.
sooner?
Yeah, but don't let the small frustrations divert you from your path. Not that they did, but I think it's important to remember why you started the job.
Right.
Remember your why.
Yeah.
Remember why you're here.
That's good. I like that one. Wow, that's good. I like that. I mean, I don't know. I think I would probably, I hate to, I sometimes think about that, but I think it's kind of put me to where I'm at today, the way I
That's true.
acted back then. I could say, don't be such a jerk, Doug. I mean, you were so jerky when you first started. And
Was
just,
that the word that you would have used for yourself?
you know,
Okay.
trying to clean it up for this
All right.
broadcast, but it could be Richard, but it's like, so I was like, and I was like, but that kind of made me who I am by having those people influence me in that career to say, take the time to say, stop it, Doug, do this, go this way, and things will happen, and things started popping, and I'm like, wow. So, I mean, if the only thing I would tell myself is to really like enjoy the job,
Yes.
not just be so like surface on the job, be like, whatever. It's like, and I think, and I hate to even say this, but my first couple of years was more concerned with like going out after work. So than staying at work. So that would be my only thing that I would say probably I shouldn't have done all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's put me where I'm at today.
Agreed.
So,
Right.
Agreed. Yeah, we all are here because of where
right.
we started.
what would
And-
Ricardo tell his
Yeah, what would
child
Ricardo
self?
say? Because I doubt that he's answered this question.
Yeah, if I could go back in time and talk to myself, I would tell myself, for one, hang in there.
Yeah.
Things are gonna get better. They're gonna get easier. Not everything, because of phone calls and everything, but
Sure.
I would also tell myself to pay more attention to your self-care.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
And
good one.
get into yoga and meditation earlier
Yeah.
than the last year and a half of dispatch, because man, if I would have known a lot of that shit beforehand, it would have helped out so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, a lot of back pain, neck pain, and just bullshit that I was going through.
Sure.
I would go back and tell myself that, focus on self-care and just hang in there.
Yeah.
Now that you said that, I think I would have probably actually used the membership to the gym that I had. Pay it every month. It was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, what's this? What's
I don't even know
this
where it's
charge?
at.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do, and I think we're all here because we still have such a passion for the job. And I
Yes.
think even with all of the drama and the bullshit and the stuff
Yeah.
that we dealt with, we're stronger on the other end. And we want everybody to have that same passion. When they
Yeah.
look back on their career to go, man, I'm here because of who I was, and I still love the job in spite of what's happened to me.
Yeah.
Right, because all of that influence, everything that that we went through, we want to leave it a better place. Just
Yeah, sure.
leave a legacy.
Yeah.
We want people to come in and learn from the stuff that we did, and just continue to evolve and evolve and move forward.
And do it better than we ever thought
Yeah.
it could be.
Right.
And that's, we started this podcast with what's next. Everybody out there is what's next.
Yep.
true.
It's not necessarily just about the technology. It's about the people who are utilizing the technology and who are sitting in the chairs. They are what's next.
Yep.
And if they can do it better than we can,
And I'm sure they
we're
will.
in great hands. They absolutely will.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, as we end this episode, how can people find out more about Showalter and Company?
Oh, well,
where
we're-
you're at next, social media, all
Man,
that good stuff.
We are all over the place. You can go to our website, which is showaltercompany.com. No dot in between there, just showaltercompany.com. That's got all of our classes, stuff on there. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. We're all over the place. And I think next week I'm doing Kansas virtual. After that, I'm going to Indiana for a CTO class. After that, I think I'm going to Maryland for a week of stuff. And then I leave there, and I think I'm going to Michigan after that.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Illinois after that, and Tennessee after that.
Wow.
Jeez.
We're very, very, very lucky, and we're very fortunate to have that, our message being resonating with people out
Yeah,
there. So
that's awesome.
that's kind of good.
Dude, that is amazing, man.
Way
Keep
to
it
go.
going. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to be traveling all over the place. And I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see the pictures.
Yeah, we do take a lot of pictures.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
We do.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
Jill, come in here and say hello to everybody.
It's Jill.
Yes. It is always awesome to have
She's
all
the
of you
person
on here.
behind Showalter and Company.
Yes.
And if you contact us
And
or
we speak
ask
dispatch.
questions.
And we speak dispatch.
Yes.
And we speak dispatch too, and it's like she's the point of contact for all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
she arranges everything. We just kind of come on and say, "Is it today?" Because we speak dispatch. That's another one that's getting really big. That's our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on every podcast that's out there. 7,000 plays so far in 20 countries. So
Yeah.
Very nice.
Pretty awesome,
good.
huh?
Love it.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That is good.
we speak dispatch.
Yes. Make sure to check that out. The way they have it set up is, it was so fun to do those 2 episodes because they start out with a question that nobody knows.
That's right.
And I was sitting there and I kept thinking, don't call on me first. And then I hear, so Ricardo, we're going to you first. I was like, shit. Like, this is not what I wanted yet. But it was good because you're thinking on your toes, and that's when you get, real answers
Yeah.
coming out, is right on the fly.
Yeah.
You don't get any time to think about it. You just throw it out there. And, the same thing with, the positions that we had in dispatch. It's the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
You
just
gotta be
thinking on
ready.
your feet.
Yeah.
So
Gotta be
pretty
ready.
badass.
It's so much better to do it that way than we started out doing it where we told everybody what they were.
Yeah.
Then we switched it to, no, who's ever hosting is just going to throw a question out. Good luck.
And I tell the guests if you don't come with a question, we're going to
we'll
have
have
them thrown
one
at
for
you.
you.
Yeah,
So
we'll have
come
one.
with a topic. Yeah.
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes, when Brad Pitt is looking at everyone and he goes,
Yeah.
if this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
Yeah.
That's
It's on
basically
you.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's on you.
If you want to be in it, you're going to be in it.
But that's what makes it so much fun. So
Yeah.
this is
It
good.
is very fun.
And Leslie, for everything that you're doing,
Yes.
you said you're still teaching and stuff for Nina.
Yep.
And then everything that you're doing for RapidSOS. How can people find out more about some of those training sessions, but also about what you are doing with your job?
So RapidSOS, simple, rapidsos.com. That'll get you to our landing page for the company. But for what I'm doing with training and engagement, send me an email, L Whitham. It's LWHITHAM, Lincoln William Henry item. Tom. I got to see if I still know.
Tom, wow.
So
Scared
Leslie
right
Whitham at rapidsos.com, and we will get you hooked up. Make sure that you're using everything that's available to you in the portal. And
Maybe he could put your email on the
maybe
screen
that's probably
because
best. Could you spell it out?
could probably
It's
really
like,
not
I
good.
wasn't so good with that. It took that long to forget the phonetic alphabet.
She was thinking about that at the beginning of your career. Should I have married earlier?
Yeah, no, I'm actually thinking about that bourbon slushy that we're going to get later. But
there you go.
anyway, so reach out because the stuff is free, and it's not next gen, it's right now.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that all of the information, the data, and all of the things that we wear on our wrists and have in our cars are actually getting into the hands of the people who can use it
Yeah.
and use it quickly, get help to where it's supposed to go more efficiently, and it's free. It's free.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being on.
Thank you very
This
much.
has been excellent
Loved it.
for all of you who are watching and listening. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to be a guest on the show, you can send us an email. That is wttpodcast@gmail.com. This is where I have to say all this
See,
stuff.
he gets his email
I know.
correct.
I was
Do you notice that?
do it phonetically to show off.
William Tom
Yeah.
Paul Ocean.
See, not as easy.
Here we go.
I mean, I was going to keep going, but
Nah.
Oh, wow.
this episode has been sponsored by InDigital, Rapid Ploy, as well as Carbine. And once again, thank you, Carbine, for jumping on and being a new sponsor. And patrons, thank you for everything. You can see this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. And you can listen 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. I like that snap right there.
Have a great one.
We will see you in the next one. Boom.